What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Ville Chillin' Podcast, brought to you by Villainy and Tea. Today, we're gonna try to highlight Kentucky's strong agriculture and some farmers markets and things along those lines. The art of small farms is dying, so there's a lot of them here in Kentucky, and we support it. So hang out, and we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess to get started, we're gonna actually start on Wikipedia today, huh?
Wikipedia.
They're good. I like them.
Man, that's how I got through high school. That's before we had Chat GPT or
Right. All right. So we wanted to go ahead and start here just to highlight the main crops for Kentucky's agricultural programs. And I was actually kind of surprised to see poultry at the number one. As projected, 22% of projected 2015 sales were poultry.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either. Like,
I mean,
I kind of, I don't know if I thought maybe like tobacco still.
I definitely thought tobacco, yeah. And I mean, it's still one of our, exports, I guess. But scrolling down just a little bit, it says that collectively, farm chickens, broiler chickens, and chicken eggs rose from 1% of the state's total farm receipts in 1990 to 18.6% in 2012. Over that same time period, tobacco went from 23.8% in 1990 to 18.6% in 2000, and then all the way to 7.3% by 2012. And even then, Kentucky is still the second largest producer of tobacco in the United States. So I was definitely surprised. I definitely thought it was still tobacco, but I guess we should have known with KFC and everything.
Right,
but
it only makes sense. At one point, the chicken was going to be the state bird. That was...
But we eat too much chicken.
Right, so went with the cards. Go cards.
Go cards. Oh, man. Aside from poultry, equine makes up 16% of our total agricultural economy.
I had to Google what that means. So can you explain what equine is?
Horses.
That makes sense. That was expected.
Yeah, that one's definitely expected. And we actually saw, and you said that Kentucky's the largest. Yeah, Kentucky is the United States' number one producer of horses. The equine industry contributed $3 billion to the state economy in 2012 and generated 40,665 jobs. And then right there with horses is cattle, 16% of total receipts. And then cattle is $1 billion a year industry here, apparently.
Which even like outside the city, right? Even outside of right outside of Louisville, like even like kind of like Shepherdsville and stuff, you can ride down the street and see horses and cows like just normal, just like you see cats, cats and dogs, anywhere else. Like
it's funny you say that because my coworker yesterday was just saying that a couple days ago she looked out her window and one of the neighbor's horses had got out and was just like walking down her driveway.
It happens.
So
here.
And then after those, soybeans, which kind of surprised me, and corn. A little less surprising on the corn, but I was surprised. Those both come in at 13%. And that makes up 80% of our main agricultural products.
Well, and even with that, like you can ride past random fields and you'll see them kind of rotate. Like they'll have one field that's soybean one year, and then the one across from it be corn, and then they kind of switch it, the next year, like rotate. I don't know if that has something to do with fertilization, but
that's exactly what I was about to say. It could be fertilization, yeah. If one crop uses more of one mineral over the other one, they can give it time to replenish or something. Definitely interesting, though, because I've never really looked deep into, Kentucky's agriculture. One thing that I think is interesting is the bluegrass region, it says, contains the state's best farmland. So it's not that other areas, don't still produce, but the bluegrass region, I guess, just produces a lot. And that is defined as pretty much northeastern and north central Kentucky. There's an inner bluegrass and then an outer bluegrass. And then right as it said it gets to, what is it, the Knob? Yeah, the Knobs region, which is kind of right to the southwest of us here in Louisville. It has issues because of the soil and steep topography. So too many hills and everything.
Pretty much like erosion preventing there from soil really.
Erosion, unbalanced sunlight. Once it gets past a hill, like you're not going to get even sun all the time, things like that, you know. Thought that was interesting. And I mean, the Kentucky Department of Agriculture sponsors so many programs too, trying to build up our agricultural footprint, I guess. They have the Kentucky Proud. They sponsor just so many different things. The junior chefs, and a few others that we're going to talk about.
And with the Kentucky Proud, that's pretty much getting products, from the farm to the shelves, for locals, right? To keep that money in the local economy, right?
Yep, keep it local and keep it healthier. I think they have a pretty good focus on making sure that, a lot of areas have better access to, real quality farm grown food and not having to rely on processed food so much.
I bet that cow tasted good.
Leave Bestie alone.
Dude, they were treating them right. You could tell they were petting them. They're petting them. Aw, tenderizing them, dude.
Oh, man. Anyways, they got tons of programs that they work on, just Kentucky Proud themselves. They have the Appalachia Proud, which puts a focus on growing in the Appalachian Mountains, which I assume sees some of the same problems that the Knobs region probably does with all the hills and, uneven sunlight, erosion, things like that. But I read that there's, in Appalachia, it's a lot of I don't want to say micro farms, but just truly really small farms. Like people just have their own livestock or they do a very small bit, of everything so that they can provide everything that they need.
Nice.
So there's a lot of information on this website as far as where to buy. If you're looking for anywhere that utilizes local produce and everything, the Kentucky Proud site has a lot of it listed. And I'm sure it's not everyone. It's just a starting place, I guess, if you will. Then they also have the farmers markets, which we're going to talk about in a second. Farms are fun. I think that one's kind of interesting to try to get kids into the idea of even being on a farm, because I know when I was growing up, I didn't really, we grew up in the city. We don't see farms every day. We don't experience farms unless we go somewhere like Huber's or something like that, And Kentucky Farms Are Fun is an initiative to host events and, bring out the agritourism to these farms.
Aaron, what's agrotourism?
Agritourism is the act of visiting a working farm or any agricultural, horticultural, or agribusiness operation for the purpose of enjoyment, education, or active involvement in the activities of the farm or operation. It says, we just like to say Kentucky farms are fun. And farm tourism is a terrific way to explore Kentucky while supporting our hardworking farm families.
I think they made that word up, though, bro. It's a fancy word, agrotourism, but I don't think it's in the dictionary.
It's definitely, it's in the Kentucky dictionary. Where do you buy your dictionary?
It's a pretty thin book, bro.
Hey, it's still bigger than our math books, okay?
Kentucky education for the win.
It is really cool though to see some of these farms opening up their businesses to, or setting aside parts of their business to bring entertainment and bring knowledge and things like that, because it's important. To expand on that, or what we were saying, is the farmers markets. There's tons of farmers markets here and in Louisville, but there's tons everywhere else too. And the bottom of this part of the page pretty much lists them all out. There's some of the best like corn and peppers. Even you can find peppers at these farmers markets. You can find so much stuff, and it does more than just help the farms. There's local people who get set up just doing small crafts or candles, and it farmers markets really open up to more beyond just farm produce.
Kind of
I
like
mean, my sisters used to do live music at a farmer's market.
awesome, kind of like busking, just getting money through like tips and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of expanded more, even into like the do it yourself, like kind of DIY market with that too. Like you said, just other creative things, and the food is the produce is always a lot fresher, like because it comes straight from the farm. So like usually by the time it gets to the either Walmart or Kroger's or something, it's might been a few days or something. So like with this,
or even then, the ones that you do find at like Kroger or Meijer have all kinds of preservatives in them or something. Something happened to them, or actually a lot of times with like tomatoes, they pick them from the farms before they're even green, and they have a way to pretty much force them to turn red while they're in the truck being transported. So you don't get that with farmers markets. It's the freshest tomato you're going to get. You know what I mean?
none of that stress induced.
Yeah, exactly. And then Kentucky Proud even has other programs that they work. They have Eat to Win Kentucky, which again, it's about educating people on balanced diets. I should probably read this article. Physical activity, things like that. Farm to campus. So trying to help bring the idea of farms or even like community gardening to schools and campuses.
No, dude, you just eat ramen noodles there. Like you don't like what? Like what are they talking about?
Junior
cool.
chef, dude, teaching kids how to cook and giving them an incentive to want to learn to cook. They're doing a whole lot.
What? Never mind.
And along those same lines of what we were just saying, starting a school garden. This Kentucky Ready Set Grow is partnered with Kentucky Proud and the Department of Agriculture, I believe, trying to get schools to implement school gardens so that kids can learn how, get hands-on experience learning how to garden and grow food on their own. And it also it's almost like getting a pet when you're younger. You got to learn how to take care of it, nurture it, learn its needs.
Responsibility.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is
R.I.P.
a cool
Womp Womp. That's cool too, because it reminds me. I remember when I was in like elementary school and they did the thing. Like it was real basic though, like where you would just put like a bean. I don't know if it was like a kidney bean or what. You put it like on a napkin in a bag. And then once it sprouted, put it like in a little cup of soil or whatever. But that was it. Like with this, I think they're talking about like full on gardening beds and making sure the soil's fertilized and watching the whole growth of multiple like crops. Like
exactly right? The whole growth and outside, and not just a small a cup like you said because that's really just germinating any seed, right? But you got to learn how to go beyond that and care for the crop and make sure that it's getting everything it needs.
Rotate between like the soybeans and the corn type stuff like we was talking about earlier.
Exactly, making
that was
sure
foreshadowing, dude. We didn't even plan that.
We did not.
Organic, bro. Like look at that, dude.
Killing it.
Cut that.
Louisville Grows is another awesome one that is doing a lot in the community to help make sure people have access to healthy foods or knowledge to be able to grow their own. And they just do a lot around the city, right?
Yeah. Wait, what was that? What was those animals? Go back.
A few here. Create a healthy yard. So moths, larvae, spiders, fireflies, salamanders. I guess all of these are good for keeping out pests.
Okay, and they're talking about like how like leaving the leaves can definitely help fertilize the soil. That's one thing.
Leave the leaves, protection, moisture, soil nutrients, shelter, microbes.
I grew up. My parents' house I grew up right in front of Iroquois Park, so like the golf course was my backyard. So there was a lot of trees, and the leaves. Whenever they would fall, there were so many leaves we wouldn't rake them or anything. And what would happen is what was underneath the leaves by next year was just like this rich dirt that you could grow anything on it.
Yeah,
anything.
There's definitely a difference. I don't really do a lot of raking or anything, but unfortunately, I had to have 2 trees cut down. because they were just too old. So I get plenty from the neighbors though. And I've wanted to do some growing of like tomatoes and some onions, like a little salsa garden in my backyard. Just haven't made time for it. But these places give a lot of resources and ideas on ways to do those things in an urban environment. Junior Chef, we kind of briefly talked about. It's another one of those programs that Department of Agriculture and Kentucky Proud help sponsor. And I think it's huge because I didn't really start learning about cooking until I was an adult. And there's so much there to learn and understand about the best ways to prepare foods. And it all goes hand in hand. The only reason I want to have a salsa garden is so I can make my own salsa. It all goes hand in hand.
And on top of that, like the health, the health aspect on it too, definitely. Like,
yes, learning how to cook, and they have the recipes that people made, and it looks pretty good. Oh, there's some chili. Fort Campbell High School.
Hey, go and download that, bro. Download that.
Done. Hearty fire roasted chili. That sounds good. Light spicy cornbread muffins.
Sweet potatoes. Zucchini. That's soup. That's not chili. Go back. Go back. Abort mission, bro. I don't even know what we're... no, I'm sorry, Junior. You did good. Amazing chili. Like, that's that pinkies up chili though. That's fancy chili.
It is. It has a lot in there, but it's definitely hearty. It's hearty. And then the last one.
This is your favorite.
The only reason I like this so much is the website. Okay, it's a very well made website. It surprised me.
This dude, he said it's not the content, it's not the quality of. He's like, nah, dude, watch this.
It's so cool.
Do it.
Like when you scroll, it just zooms in. If you're only listening to this podcast and not watching it on YouTube, I apologize that you can't see this right now. I highly recommend just going to the video and scrolling to this minute so that you can see this. I think it's amazing. This is obviously Kentucky's known for like bourbon and breweries and stuff too. So this is Drink Kentucky, and it's a guide to Kentucky's wineries and breweries. So where they might have tastings and just different things. There's 70 local wineries and nearly as many breweries across the state of Kentucky. Quite a lot. And then you get to this section of the site and it scrolls sideways. It blows my mind. Oh man, but there's a lot here. Again, when we're talking about agritourism, Jack's favorite word.
Word of the day.
Bourbon and wine and beer, all these different products are a big part of the Kentucky agritourism.
In the Kentucky economy. That's another one of our words of the day.
We're gonna have to write our own Villainy and Tea dictionary. I mean, I didn't make agritourism, but it's a good one. Fun fact, meaderies and cideries operate under a small farm winery license in Kentucky as fermented beverages. However, cideries typically also maintain a craft brewery license so they can produce weak cider, which is cider with under 7% alcohol. Weak cider is legally treated as a malt beverage in Kentucky and can be sold at retail establishments where malt beverages are sold.
Kentucky knows how to party.
Hey, clearly, do you see this website? That's amazing. Oh, all right. That's all I had to really to point out on this episode. I think it was a little lighthearted, I guess, on this one, but that's okay.
Hey, dude, that's time. Kentucky's, the heart of America. Like, do that again. Do that. The thing with the little bump, like heartbeat. Do it.
Oh gosh, that's all I got for this one. You got anything you want to add, man?
Nah, I think that about covers it.
Yep, just buy local, support local, go to your local farmers markets when they're open.
I forgot. Never mind. Go on.
And I guess we'll just call it there with this one. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Next time.